This time on Edges Unknown.
We're in Arizona. We're gonna learn how to ride a horse. We're gonna learn how to be a cowboy, and we're gonna push cattle. You gotta stay on the horse, not fall off. No, come back. Whoa.
I'm a little concerned we're not gonna make the fire and we're gonna freeze tonight.
Eventually, we're gonna have these cattle in a corral and we're gonna have to lasso them up.
Oh, feet, you got it.
Oh, whoa!
My name's Brett Rogers.
With my best friend Cliff and our camera guy Max, we're going to be taking on the toughest jobs of our pioneering forefathers. Extraordinary men who headed into uncharted territory, facing danger, backbreaking labor, and unforgiving landscapes to lay the foundations of major industry.
We're gonna see if we can do the same.
Let's go see how hard it can be.
We're in Arizona, and on this challenge, we're going to be ranchers. Good old-fashioned cowboys, moving cattle through the mountains back to the ranch.
So we have one day to learn how to ride a horse. Then we're gonna go out, ride through the mountains, and drive cattle back into the pen.
In all, the trip from our starting point to the ranch will be about 50 kilometers and take us about 3 days, depending on how easy it is to find the cattle.
Cliff has taken this job very seriously, and he has taken it upon himself to be the best dressed cowboy west of the Mississippi River.
I took my tie off though.
Before we hit the trail, Cliff and I need to climb in the saddle and learn the basics.
How long have you been riding horses?
Since I was 3.
We're gonna learn from Catherine today as to what we need to do. And tomorrow we're gonna set out, try and find the cattle that are on the loose. The last time I was on a horse was like 5 years ago. I did a ride for like 2 hours in the Rockies.
What about you, Cliff? How much riding have you ever done?
I did it once when I was like 13.
After the Civil War, Arizona became a hotbed for ranching. There was about 1 million head of cattle here, and some of those original ranching families are still here today.
To be a rancher, I think there's certain attributes you gotta have, and you gotta be innovative, you gotta have a heck of a drive, you gotta be patient with the animals, and you gotta be able to ride a horse. Which I can't.
How do you think these two will do?
Hard to say.
I think it's gonna be a lot of muscles and technique that we don't have down pat, but you know, over the next handful of days, I think we'll get better at it. It's just a question of, you know, can we master it? Time will tell. Okay. These pants are a little tighter than I'm used to. All right.
You can do like different directions and stuff. Look where you want to go. You can squeeze with your leg. Make sure you keep your heels down.
Oh yeah.
So then pull back and get them to stop.
Whoop. Whoop. Stop.
Come pretty good up there, bud.
Fake it until you make it. He's breaking me in softly. It's pretty fun.
Being on a horse is exciting, but it's also one of those experiences where it's a powerful animal, a lot can go wrong, and so you gotta respect what you're on and hope for the best.
The key so far is just learning the communication between the horse and myself. Like, I mean, the horse knows what to do. It's getting used to the language that the horse operates in. It's a very intelligent animal, obviously. It's incredible how it understands, you know, a little pressure from a foot or turning on the reins a certain way.
So when you're turning him, don't lean with your body.
Okay. Yeah, let's go show him how it's done there. Hey? Uh-oh. He's not listening. Whoa.
Oh, your horse is just like you.
Man and horse could not do this job without one another. They both are equally reliant on each other for water, companionship, and to move the cattle forward.
What do you think about driving cattle?
Probably be easier with a car.
Rule number 1 of a cowboy is not to complain.
Not true.
And we didn't fall
Anyways.
off, right? We're both standing. Tomorrow we're going out into the frontier and it's gonna be a whole different game.
Yeah, how hard can it be?
In terms of finding the cattle, we'll go as far as we need to go to actually find them and then drive them back. The route's gonna take us up and over the mountains and then back down to the prairie.
In all, we'll travel about 50 kilometers.
Cowboy life is very romanticized, but it's actually just really hard work and long days, just living out on the land. It's very mucky. That was not something I was expecting.
Yeah, it's quite muddy out with all the rain they've had, which is surprising.
We're walking on the highest ground we can find. You go into a low-lying area, there's water everywhere, which is good because we can find water for the horses and ourselves. So, you know, that was going to be our biggest challenge coming out here. Now that's kind of resolved because there's water everywhere.
How is it controlling it, Cliff?
It's a challenge because they have a mind of their own.
Ranchers never used to fence in their herd, but in the late 1800s, after a really cold winter, a lot of cattle died. So they started to build fences to keep their cattle closer to home. But having a fence means maintaining a fence.
Cowboys would often spend about a third of their time fixing fence lines. You got to keep your herd intact, and even though they might have a huge, huge area, these fences go on forever. We found a weak part in the fence, we cut down some trees, and we're gonna fix it.
A rancher in this part of America would have anywhere from 10 to 40, 50,000 acres of land, and it was extremely important to keep the cattle in and try and keep predators out.
I think it's pretty good for, that's probably the best post in 1,000 miles. To the cowboy, you know, the horse was looked at as a tool to get the job done. It's incredible how they know where to go just from pulling on the rein here or here, even with your legs, even just turning your body. I can't imagine what it'd be like to ride a horse after, you know, 15, 20 years when you have that intimate knowledge of how the animal operates. Found a little water, Cliff. Stop, stop. Oh. There's nothing more precious in the desert than water.
Want some water? Yeah. Thanks, Brett. They really suck it up, eh?
Yeah. Wow. Just had a good ride, made some good distance today. There's lots of these puddles around here, so the animals are able to get lots of water. And now we're gonna just basically set up camp, get a good night's sleep, and push into the mountains tomorrow morning. I'm gonna try and use a fire bow. We're gonna give it a shot. Basically 2 different types of wood and a string, create friction. And then you get enough smoke going. It creates a little tinder pile if you have some tinder there, and you get your fire going that way.
The tinder lighted?
Yeah.
My experience with a fire bow is about as equal as it is riding a horse. One time.
This thing really isn't doing anything.
I'm a little concerned we're not going to make a fire and we're going to freeze tonight.
Come on, man.
It gets very, very cold here in the desert when that sun disappears. It's gonna break. It's gonna break.
It's so cold out here that if we don't get a fire going, it's gonna be a very cold, long night, and I'm not prepared for that.
We're in Arizona, living the life of ranchers. But on our first night of a cattle drive, we're having trouble even starting a fire.
It's gonna break.
Keep going.
Here we go.
There we go. Wow. That really takes off when it gets going. So it took longer than we thought, but we got a fire going. And once you have a fire, the psychological win with that is huge. It can keep you warm, you can cook food, you can see, it keeps predators away. It's just a very symbolic win when you're out anywhere in the wild.
Actually getting a fire going was quite rewarding. It's one of the most important things you can have anywhere.
I did a little research before I came out here and knew that mustard greens grew pretty abundantly in this area, and figured why not give it a shot and have ourselves some fresh salad.
So that's like a wild mustard.
Oh, this is an amazing salad.
Ooh, that's hot.
Salad?
Salad.
Do I have to wait?
No, it's an appetizer.
Great. This is the Cowboy way of eating salad?
Mm-hmm. More like the Cowboy. That's probably really good for you. Travel with some dough, and we are gonna make ourselves some bread on the fire. I gotta put some coals on top.
Didn't push some in.
Yeah. Cook that bread as evenly as possible. Give it about half an hour or so. What Cowboy meal would be complete without some beans?
Love beans.
So how was your first day being a cowboy?
Ah, still going. So far, so good.
Should we go fill up the kettle in the watering hole?
Yeah, we can go over there and get some water.
We're about 4,000 feet above sea level, and it's not supposed to rain here this time of year. And in the last 2 weeks, it's rained twice. Just before we got here was the second one. And you know, even though it's sandy, the water is still present.
I'll stay here to pull you out. Oh boy.
Vitamin mud. All right, water is water.
Yes, it is.
Right, we should probably pull this off.
Check on. Oh boy.
Bad, eh? Got some beans, pull those off. Ooh, yeah. Not bad, man. We've done worse.
Any good rancher would bring just what they need to survive, which would be the bare necessities such as coffee, dough, a little bit of salt, and maybe a can of beans.
Wow. Steamer. This is what I gotta do. This is the original Sloppy Joe.
Cowboy Sloppy Joe.
It's a sloppy
This
clip.
is a sloppy cliff. I'm gonna try it. A little crunchy. Delicious.
The bun is fantastic.
That bean Sloppy Joe was pretty delicious. A little taste of mustard on it. Mmm, delish.
When I was a younger guy, 21, we built a raft and lived on the Yukon River for 4 months. And every day we made a little loaf of bread, about a third this size. And it just brings me back to that. That was a really good bun.
Yeah.
We came out here to be in the footsteps of being a cowboy. And our mission is pretty clear. We have to go over this mountain range, which is about 50 kilometers. And on the other side is a bunch of cows, 10 to 15, not quite sure. And then we gotta take them and push them all the way to the ranch. It's one thing to deal with riding a horse, it's a whole other thing to deal with riding a horse and trying to move cattle, which are bigger than the horses. The question is, can we continue to get better with these horses, ride over these mountains, and bring the cattle back home?
It's day 2 of our cattle roundup, deep in the Arizona desert. Before we hit the trail today, we're gonna try our hand at a time-honored cowboy tradition.
Well, every good cowboy needs to know how to throw a lasso. And there's no better way to learn than have a little competition. So Cliff and I are gonna have a lasso off out here in the desert, in the mountains. And yeah, we're gonna see who has a better shot.
Lasso it is a lot harder than it looks. First of all, I thought the rope was always limp, but no, it's hard. It's like it's got wire in it. I had no idea. Lariat is our rope that we use. Make a nice loop, and then the key is we're gonna have this knot about a third of the way down. This loop here is gonna carry your weight. That's what makes it go. So we're gonna use our finger We're gonna point pretty much when we release to where it's going. Wrap it, point. Got you, Max.
Oh! First try.
Jeez, pretty good, Cliff.
Brett, if you need lessons, I'm right here.
Thank you.
Hey! Oh, he got away.
Wow.
Got me a steer. It's gonna be pretty difficult to actually lasso a horse. At least I know how to throw it.
We're not just practicing for the sake of practicing, we are practicing because eventually we're gonna have these cattle in a corral and we're gonna have to lasso them up.
Well, he came up short. He's the best dressed cowboy and he's the best lassoer, so I'll give it to him.
I don't just look the part, I am the part.
Our little competition was fun and all, but the big question is, can we lasso for real when it matters most? Cliff and I are making our way through the Arizona desert to round up some cattle and drive them back to the ranch.
Is it getting any easier with the horse?
Yeah, getting a little more comfortable with the horse. Guy was starting to pull the reins a little too high to stop, so I was going like this. But then I remembered, you know, you gotta keep the reins down and pull a little closer to the hip.
Yeah.
Stop, right? So it wasn't that my horse wasn't listening to me, it was that I forgot how to do it. It's like anything though, practice makes perfect. You know, what's that old saying? It takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at something, and you know, we're only like 15 hours in. Got a long way to go. You know any good cowboy songs or poems?
I might recite some later on with the fire.
Lucky me. You feeling better on the horse?
Bit better. I don't like the tight areas. There's some cattle.
Cattle. Not ours. Out in this country, a lot of cowboys put bells on their cattle because they think it keeps the mountain lions away. It also makes it easier to find the cattle when they start to run. But that's not our cow.
We don't put bells on ours.
Yeah, ours are bellless. Yeah, the bell's either gonna keep the mountain lions away or tell every single predator out there that, hey, I'm out here, you want some lunch?
Yeah. Dinner time? It's the dinner bell for the mountain lion.
We've been riding now for a couple hours. I don't know, it's just such a beautiful landscape. It's nice to see some trees again. I can hear water.
Good. Cappy and I are thirsty.
The biggest challenge for a cowboy in this country is making sure cattle have enough water to drink. It's by far the biggest thing. It's so hot out here for most of the year that finding water is really, really tough. You know, we came out here into the high desert and we thought, you know, finding water was going to be a really, really big challenge, if not impossible, which would have made things very difficult. There was water in the valley, we were drinking out of puddles, and now that we're up in the mountains, the creeks are just filled with water. And that's a really big bonus.
Whoa. Do a little cool down.
That's awesome. There's nothing better than water in the desert. That's probably some sweet tasting water for them too. Okay, let's go up here and we're gonna tie up. You need some dried out grass. Okay, come on, straight. Let's go. I know you don't want to, come on. Of course, if we get bucked off here, we're probably gonna get brain damage. So, come on, let's go. Okay, you want some grass? Let's go over here then. We'll get some grass over here. I don't know what's more difficult, trying to communicate with this horse or working with Cliff.
Probably working with Cliff.
Come on, let's go, up here. I need a drink. It's not just about you. No.
Get off.
Yeah. Come on, just don't, hey, stay. Whenever we can go somewhere and drink the water without any fear, you know, fresh water from the mountains, it's always the best, always the highlight for me. This is what you would describe as God's country, you know? Just beautiful mountains, unbelievable light, it's an oasis, really. It's, you know, you got these oak trees and sycamores and big junipers and running water and warm sun. You know, if you were a cowboy, this is kind of where you would want to be.
Just like back in the old days.
Nothing has really changed.
Nothing has changed.
Well, let's get over that pass and look for a camp, I guess. Oh,
Well,
man.
I think first we look for our cattle.
We're not gonna find our cattle today, I know that. We haven't seen any tracks of our cattle. You know, we saw cattle further back. That obviously wasn't ours, it had a bell on it. It's become more mountainous, there's more rocks. When we were out in the valley, it was flat, it was sandy, it was easy. We're going over a couple of these creek passes. If the horse gets spooked and your leg gets caught around a tree or a rock, you got a way higher chance of getting hurt. Horsey, good horsey.
Right now we're riding on some pretty hairy terrain. Rocks, cactus, landslides, mud. Lots can go wrong, and you know, we don't really know our way around horses that well.
Okay, let's go straight, straight, straight. That is tricky. Come on, you got it. Oh, good job, wow. There you go. Good job, Red. Okay, I'm gonna get off then. Okay, Red, stop, stop, stop. So we're gonna do a little air out. The horse is sweating, it's warm.
It's been sweating all day.
Right, so we just kind of took off the back strap here, let it air out a bit so Red can get some moisture release. You want to kind of keep that moisture under control. Look at that. Red's loving it. I feel good, Red? The cowboy told us to do this after, you take a break. We haven't seen any tracks of the cattle, so they're obviously not in the valley here or in the foothills, and they're most likely on the other side.
Just through that valley.
Out of all the jobs we've done, this is our biggest interaction with animals by far. Historically, animals were such a huge part before machines and the combustion engine. And although a horse is a tool, you know, you still want to treat your horse right? Give it a little love once in a while. Maybe not all cowboys would do that, but I don't know. I feel like it builds a better bond, especially in a short amount of time.
I don't think a horse is really a tool. I think it's more of an extension of yourself.
You're definitely more difficult to deal with than a horse, though.
Thanks, buddy. Trying to get some berries. Okay, I'm only allowed so many berries. They're definitely sweeter than at home. Can we try some?
Yeah. Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Looks like a cowboy came up here with his firebow and got carried away.
Yeah.
It's a total game of trust, eh?
Yep.
Coming through the mountain pass, I'm starting to trust my horse, but I'm not sure my horse is trusting me.
I know my horse is not trusting me. And I don't trust him.
No, no. I don't know if this is where we came in. There's horse tracks. No, 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 no. You just don't. Hey, hey. Jesus.
Where are you going?
Where are you going, boy?
No, no, no. Pull on the rein!
No, 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 no.
Where are you going?
I'm trying to come back.
He's lost.
Let's go back. Back. No, 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 no.
Pull on the rein!
Thanks. Okay, let's go.
Okay, here we go. We're going.
That's tough. Good job, Red. Whoa.
Cliff and I are riding across an Arizona mountain range to find a herd of cattle grazing on the other side, but we're struggling to control our horses.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, God.
I think anytime you're on top of an animal that weighs over 1,000 pounds, there's always an inherent risk that you could get kicked off or run over. My legs are definitely sore, my ass is a bit tender, but other than that, enjoying the challenge.
Hey, we're almost out of the mountains.
All right.
It felt good to get out of the mountains because it means we're getting on our journey and the cattle should be not too far away.
Looks like there might be some good places to make camp. I'm hoping down in this valley over here we can find the cattle tomorrow. We won't get there today. Going through the creek, through the rocks, it was a bit hairy, and Cliff actually, his horse stumbled a bit at one point.
Falling off the horse out here, you might as well be left for dead. Unless that horse really likes you. Maybe it'll lick you awake. That's why I think it's important to make such a good bond with your horses.
After our hectic ride through the mountain range, it feels like the right time to make camp for the night.
Lots of firewood.
Yeah, that's a bonus.
Creek's just down there. Mountain fresh water. Only the finest. Such a treat to have water though right now. Like look at all the cactus. Cactus grows in the desert. We got a little oasis right in our backyard.
We should try some of them. I don't know, if you cook anything long enough, I think you can eat it. So might as well try some cactus. Just cook it up and peel it open. You don't eat the skin, you just eat the insides like most animals or plants in the world.
Yeah, grab one. There we go.
Ooh. Ow. I didn't realize that there would be so many little ones. Rookie mistake. That's what I asked for, right?
Just came down the creek, got some water. Cliff saw there's the whole mountainside is covered in cactus, and he didn't have his knife. It's over by the camp. He came down and grabbed it with his hands, and has a bunch of little microscopic little
thorns, spikes. There they are.
So I'm glad I didn't do that. I'm gonna burn off the thorns.
We can either burn them off or we can scrape them off with our knife, but
I'll just burn it. So what did we learn about cactus today?
Use gloves. Use gloves.
Cactus has been eaten in desert communities for centuries. Despite looking a little gnarly, it's filled with nutrients.
I have no idea what it would be like to be the first person to eat it. It must have been like a dare or something. When that pop goes, that's your timer.
And the snot, and the cactus snot starts coming out, you know you're ready.
Ow.
Hot.
That is freaking hot. Look at that goo. What's up? It's pretty hot.
Nice color.
It's not green.
Yeah, it does have the texture of like a giant booger.
Thanks. Tastes like jelly. Absolutely vomit tasting jelly. It's f***ing disgusting and unsettling.
Like, look at that.
Do you want some, Max?
I'm okay.
We had a good day today. Went up and over the mountain. And now all we gotta do is find our cattle. Hopefully not get injured. And then, yeah, can't wait to tell my kids about it.
Heard an owl last night. Yeah. I'm sure I heard a bell up behind us there. It's a pretty broken sleep. If it's not you waking up to put the log on the fire, it's me. So you probably sleep 2 hours in a row, and that's it. We should make some coffee.
Sun's up, fire's still going. We've been stoking it all night. Got a nice big hot bed of coals. Slept pretty good. Very soon we'll be out back into the other valley, into the plains, the high desert. I'm hoping we find the cattle today. We can herd them up, bring them to the ranch, make our way out of here. A cup of coffee in the morning goes a long way, keeps you warm, gives you some energy. It's a little victory, right, for the morning. We have green coffee beans, and obviously you gotta roast them. So the plan is that we get this on the fire, we get it hot, we throw on the beans, and they'll start to crackle. That's a perfectly cooked bean where it's brown and you got the white crack.
Cowboys would trade for coffee when they brought the cattle back in. It's a staple that no cowboy went without.
So I'd say we have 50% dark roast, 50% light roast, which makes for a nice medium roast cowboy coffee.
I think medium roast is what you want in the morning.
Wow, it's pretty nice and fresh.
That was worth it. Believe it or not, that was worth it.
You know, most people, they get a cup of coffee, they go to the coffee shop, they're in and out in 2 minutes. It took us 2 hours to make a cup of coffee today. So just kind of really puts into perspective how we don't really think about how quickly things are in our modern lives. But I'll tell you one thing, that was one damn good cup of coffee, worth every minute. Now it's time to go find some cows. Today is the day that we're gonna see if we have what it takes to be cowboys. I guess you can break down today into 3 phases. 1 is we gotta ride out, find the cattle. 2 is we gotta push the cattle across the high desert all the way to the pen at the end of the ranch. Phase 3 is we gotta get the cattle in the pen. Not quite sure how it's gonna go, but we're gonna do our best, and hopefully by the end of the day, we have the cattle in the pen and our job as cowboys will be complete. Wind's really picked up.
Brett, by the water.
Are you talking to me? I can't hear a thing. Sorry. Yeah, what was that?
There's the cattle.
We finally found our cattle, and it's a little intimidating. This might be a bigger challenge than we thought. Cliff and I are in the Arizona desert, living the life of the original ranchers. We're about to see if we have what it takes to drive cattle.
Cattle are here. They're at the watering hole. And now we gotta work as 2 cowboys and 2 horses and try to round them up, push them way across here to the pen at the edge of the ranch. I can't hear anything because of the wind. So it's gonna be interesting because we gotta split up, push them. This is the real test and the wind's not making it any easier. All right, let's do this. So now Cliff is going around. He's gonna flank them. And if they start coming this way, I'm gonna try and block them off.
It's starting to get towards you, Brett. Move around, move around. No, one's not moving. The big one's still by the water. It's the bull.
He's giant. He's like twice the size of the calves.
That bull doesn't want to move, eh? What the hell? What are we supposed to do here? He doesn't want to move at all.
Hey, bull! Let's go. Let's go, bull. I'm the boss, not you.
Hell of a job there, Captain.
Just in general, this is just such a great life experience. Pushing cattle by horseback in Arizona, like, I feel like it's like the 1860s, you know? I just want to push cattle like for weeks.
Back in the day, you had a trail boss and then about 10 or 12 cowboys. And from that, you can move thousands of cattle at once.
So now Cliff's over there. He's gonna try and push the bull.
Come on, let's go. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Let's go, bull. That was good. Nice work. We can kind of see our destination just up here. Got him moving across the high desert, going way better than expected. And the hard part will be trying to get him contained. Honest to God, this is one of the coolest things I've ever done. You ready for the final push?
All right, it's a deal.
Do it. All right, guys. Let's go.
Brett, come on back around, over here.
Let's go.
Come on, Chevy, come on.
There we go.
Use the fence line. We'll run across the fence line there.
Got him on the fence line.
This is what we've kind of been out here to do. It really does feel like we're doing an old-fashioned job, and we're doing a decent job at it.
I'm gonna go up here on the left. You're gonna drive on the right.
Almost there.
Oh my God, Chevy, this is so cool.
All right.
It's open. Let's get him in there.
Bull's going first. There we go. Good job, cattle. All right.
Well, Brett, that was awesome!
Found the cattle. Now we've pushed them into this pen.
We've done pretty good, you know, but once we get the cattle into the pen, the most dangerous part of our job begins. Cliff has to lasso a cow, and then we gotta get it tied up and it has to get branded.
Yeah, before we do that, we gotta get them separated.
Thankfully, we have support from real cowboys on the ranch.
They're big animals and they don't really want to be told what to do. So this is really the most dangerous part of the entire part of being a cowboy, is dealing with these big cattle in a closed space. On top of that, we got a big bull here who might get defensive that we're messing around with one of his offspring. Well, where is the calf?
Look in the back there.
No, here comes the calf. Calf's right here, so. I'm gonna go around and try and get the calf to the back. Come on. Okay, here goes one. Let's get another and another. Okay.
Okay, walk forward, Brett, walk forward. That's it.
Okay, two.
Cut that one next off.
Got. Okay. So now what?
Now we need rope. Rope them and brand them.
Okay.
So you want to rope the feet.
You want to try it, Cliff? Since you're
Rope
the better
the feet?
roper?
No, I'll
the
never
feet.
rope the feet.
Try it.
That's not the head.
Well, how will I rope the feet?
You gotta try it.
I think it's one thing to practice something in theory and excel. It's a whole other thing to actually, you know, try and lasso a cattle in the moment with a bunch of cowboys watching you.
It's a lot harder to actually lasso a calf than it is a tree.
Well, it's been fun. So now, get to see if you got the real chops. Hey?
You nervous?
Yeah. What's that, about 3,500 pounds in there?
Now we got the calf in there that we need to brand, and Cliff's gonna actually try and see if he can lasso the calf's feet. And if he can, then we gotta throw it on the ground and brand it.
Cows don't wear dog collars or identification tags. The purpose of a branding is to actually identify that it's your cattle.
He's never lassoed off a horse, let alone try to lasso an actual live animal. I think if anyone can do it for the first time, it's Cliff. I'm kind of excited to see how it goes, and I'm rooting for him. I really hope he can do it.
I think the key is to keep them calm. Like every animal, right? Stay calm.
What could go wrong?
Well, a lot of things can go wrong right about now. We can be pinned against that fence, could start stampeding, break a leg or something, knock us off the horse. Then we could hit our head or something, who knows? I'm not gonna think about that, I'm gonna think about getting the calf.
You got it, man.
I know, you're right there. Everybody's staring at me. The only way we're gonna get this thing branded is if I actually lasso it. Oh.
Makes work for
Ah.
Yeah. Oh, you had it. You had it. Good try, man. He had it. It was right around its foot, but he didn't pull it tight quick enough. So the goal is to get the back legs, but at the same time, if you get the head or front legs, get anything you can, it's just gonna make it harder for Jerry and I to run in and throw down the cattle.
Perfect, right there.
Ah. Can't do it.
Oh, good try.
Great try.
Good try, man.
Well, that's harder than you think. Come on, Choppy, one last. Get right in there.
Ooh. Oh, feet. You got it.
Tie it off. I can't. Whoa.
We're truly living the cowboy life after riding 50 kilometers to get cattle back to this Arizona ranch. Cliff is on horseback, attempting to rope his first calf.
Feet, you got it.
Fingers.
Face that horse.
Whoa.
Turn the horse around. Stroke your dally out.
Whoa.
You're doing good.
It's a 300-pound animal, right? So it's the size of a good sized black bear. Imagine so running in and you got a black bear tied up and you gotta run and grab it and throw it on the ground. It would not be easy to throw down, so the pressure's on.
Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
What's that? Okay, pull the tail towards the next side, this side. Oh, other side.
Other side.
Don't let him land on you.
You take the tail, Gary.
Okay. We're gonna do, we'll flip them over. Yeah. Ready? So pick it up and pull it that way.
Go back in front of me. You're tired, guys. You're tired. Grab the front half. Roll them.
So Brett, when we flip, come over, you do what I'm doing on that side. You can go.
Okay.
Got it? So see how I got this.
Yeah. I'm gonna do it on that leg.
So we're gonna flip them over and I'll go get them. Stay on it.
Watch that hard. Cow.
Roll them over. Okay.
The animal was way stronger than I thought, and I had to put all of my weight onto it and like really go for it in order to hold that cow down.
Okay, Brett, let me go.
Get on.
Good job, sir. Good job.
Thanks, Harry. That's awesome. That's amazing. Thanks, buddy.
Work.
What work, guys?
Wow. That was intense. Thank you.
Wow. Cliff got the calf back legs exactly like the perfect way you want it, back legs. And then the Cowboys came in and it just like, for me, like my adrenaline was just bumping. I couldn't believe how strong it was. You can see how Cowboys get seriously hurt. That was crazy.
That was intense. So intense. It was fun as I'm trying to rope him, but then once you get him roped, it's game on. It is f***ing serious business, man.
Another day for another cowboy, and that's it. So that was quite the experience. I've never been a part of anything like that before. Cliff did a great job. Everyone did a great job. It was, yeah, just something I'll remember the rest of my life. That's for sure.
Looking back, the hardest part of being a cowboy was the physical work and the fact that you are truly on your own out in the wild.
You know, we came out here with a pretty simple mission. We had to go 50K by horseback over the mountains, come back into another valley, find the cattle, then push them into here.
I think out of all the jobs we've done, this is one where 200-300 years ago, it would have felt exactly the same as what we're experiencing right now.
Like, a lot of things haven't changed. A horse is a horse, and a cowboy is a cowboy.
A cow's a cow.
You know, we're doing what cowboys do, and we did it pretty damn good. You can't beat a horse. The old way is the best way.
I think being a cowboy is something that I would have loved to have done a couple hundred years ago, just mainly because you're your own boss and you're out living on the land, working with animals. Sounds pretty good to me.
Ditto.
That was one of the craziest things I've ever been a part of.